あと12分でドライバーミーティングだよ。ドライバーミーティング5分ぐらいになったらもう一回言うね。
10 minutes to the driver's briefing. 10 minutes.
セットアップじゃねえ、予選の時って、なんか一回ピットから出たらもうピット戻れませんよみたいな書いてありましたよね。
見てる
複数、20分あるんだけど、カイト君見れるんだったらちょっと待ってね。リンク貼るから。違う、予選が始まって一回、コースインするじゃん。予選アタック始めるじゃん。そうすると、もう一回入っちゃいけません。もう一回、ピットインしたらもう出られませんよ、みたいな。そう。多分そういうこと。多分そういうことなんだろうと。
そしたら今のうちにセットとか見つけとかないと。
そうそうそう。なんか、ジェネラルじゃない、テキストに貼った。これのね、レギュレーションの7の4だったか
7の4って。
な。うん。下の方に降りていったら、
ロボットが遅いって。
7の4、ラウンド1クオリファイって書いてあるんだ
けど。なんかすごいとこで一回切れてまた入ったな。なんか毎回、1回ぐらいなる。
1 minute 4.355.
9まで。
7の4の、線消しされて A になっているところに、
One Maria bit like by driving into pit lane or by turn. クオリファイ中にピット戻ったら、ピットから出ちゃいけない。出たら、スタートはピットからって書いてある。
だよね。っていうことになる。うわー、マジか、戻ってきた。マジか。
おお。ちょうど配信見た瞬間だよ。
今のはマジかって感じだった。すごい。
ちょっと今のはないって。
すごいゆっくりね、ぶつかった
急にね
反動なんだろうけどね。あれ多分ぶつかってたよ、左側に。で、ゆっくり走ったから止まるだろうと思ったら止まらずに出てきたからびっくりしちゃって。
急に前出てきたよ。で、ちょっと待って、他のラウンド1は、遅く走ったりトラックの上で止まっちゃいけない。まあそりゃ普通だよね。
うん。
で、ラウンド2クオリファイはリバースゲート。で、全部ローリングスタート。そう書いてある。
1 minute 4.507.
ペースカーがピットレーン入ったら、オールスターがコントロールするって書いてある。
そうそうそう。
ドラミで、また一瞬切れたな。ドライバーでアクセラレーティングゾーンってやつを教えてくれるから、そう書いてある。で、ポールでアクセラレートしないといけないって書いてある。
それ確かね、
1 minute 4.473.
そのアクセレーターゾーンは確かもうね、一応発表はしてあって、多分それの説明がもう一回あるんだろうなと思う。
ドライバーミーティングだったら4分。あと4分ね。ピットから始まる車は、レースコントロールがリリースするって書いてある。
うん。何か言ってくれるんだろうね。
で、行けっていう前に始めたらペナルティー。まあ当然。
そうだね。
で、ピットレーンスピードを守んなかったらペナルティって書いてある。
多分ないけど、ポール取った時はちょっと。多分ないよね、谷越さん。
ピット戻るときは、すぐ戻れるやつ使ってもいいって書いてある。
ああ、はいはいはいは
今んとこは。そう。でもいつでもって書いてあるよ。ああ、ということだった。あと2分。あと2分ね。
ああ、はいはいはい。ガソリン積むとね、結構車高とかも変わって、トータルで多分、重量以外のところでも遅くなるのかなと思いながら。
おー、すげえ量。ピットすごいいる。
あと2分で、ドラミだよって。
あと1分。うん、ほんとだ。
もうタイム出ないし、僕もピット入ろ
うん。
うん。
行く。オッケー。
Hello.
Hey everybody, just hang tight. We're gonna get the last drivers in and we'll start this up. Okay, it looks like we've got everybody in here. So hello and welcome to Club Cup. We're going to try to keep the driver's briefing fairly brief so that you guys can get back on the track and warming up. If you do have any questions during the driver's briefing, please feel free to use the round one pre-qualifying chat to type them in if you want to get them down. If not, we'll have a bit of time near the end to answer any questions that anybody has. So generally speaking for today, the big focus for pre-qualifying is going to be on clean driving. Just try to keep your nose clean, respect each other's space. As a reminder, if a car is alongside, they are entitled to space for the duration that they're alongside. We don't run it like Formula One where you can dismiss someone from the track should you see fit. They are entitled to that space. That being said, once the leading car has turned in, they are committed to the corner. if they have turned in and you try to take that space, that is what we are classifying as a dive bomb. So that should cover a majority of the overtaking that will happen in the race. For spotters, we don't require that you have a live spotter. If you don't, especially because this is a like a single driver series at the moment, please be sure to have some virtual spotter on. Losing track of another car will not be a valid excuse for contact or a collision. So just be aware of the cars around you through whatever spotting means that you have at your disposal. So on the topic of contact, damage is turned off for pre-qualifying. It's only going to be turned off for pre-qualifying. Every race after this, damage will be turned back on. We would prefer very much that you drive as though damage was as normal. So pretend like there is consequence to hitting somebody. That being said, if some incident does occur, we will have post-race review, so don't worry about it too much. Just get back on track and be on your way. Couple of important notes about qualifying. So once you re-enter the pit, you are not permitted to leave the pits again. So be sure that you have enough fuel to do however much qualifying you plan on doing. Feel like that's fairly straightforward. In terms of the track surface during qualifying, be respectful to the other people that are on track. If you're not on a hot lap, be sure that you're not impeding another car. We would not consider that to be the greatest action if you were to get in another car's way. But that being said, if you are on your own hot lap, proceed to...
Pues ya está, entonces ¿qué coño hacemos aquí? Escúchame.
Oh, someone's got a hot mic. Heads up.
Hay que estar. En el Discord han pasado el setup.
It's Mario.
Está pasado.
Mario.
There we go. There's me, he's
Mira.
muted.
Mira,
There we go.
mira aquí en lo de...
Sorry about that. So for the second round of qualifying, we will be posting a list that will give you target times to set the grid. You'll have a 5-second window for that pre-qualifying, or sorry, for that qualifying. So that shouldn't be a huge problem. When you guys go out, honestly, take your time, and you can find space near the finish line to just pull your car over. You're not racing each other, so there's no need to get in each other's way. You have your targets, just make sure you hit them. Normally, if you didn't hit your target, you'd be starting from the pit. That won't be the case in pre-qualifying, but it will be evaluated against you if you do not conform to our qualifying standards. For the race start, it is a rolling start. Do not go on the iRacing green. I cannot stress that enough. Do not go on the iRacing green. The pole sitter controls the fields. If you check out the driver's briefing, there is an acceleration zone that's outlined in that driver's briefing. Pole sitter can go within that zone whenever they see fit. If they exceed the zone, the field can go. But I assume that the pole sitter won't be exceeding that zone. The field is expected to be in formation once you're approaching the final corner. That does mean that you should be behind the car that's in front of you. You should not be weaving anymore. And you should be in reasonable proximity to that car. We don't want to see large gaps in the fields as you're approaching the start zone.
James, 15
We'll
minutes.
view this
15 minutes.
as an attempt to get an unfair advantage if you get a big run. So generally speaking, just form up as a racing kind of formation should go, and you'll be okay. So if you do find yourself spun or something has happened on track and you need to rejoin, please do so safely. To the best of your ability, rejoin the racing surface parallel to the racing surface. So in the direction that the road is going, not across it. If you so happen to be on the racing line and off track, we'd ask that you get your car away from the racing line, even if you join parallel, but you would join on the racing line, for example, in a corner. We don't see that as a very kind thing to do and will be considered an unsafe rejoin. Similarly, if you are rejoining perpendicular to the track and there are cars in your proximity, that is an unsafe rejoin. Please have your relative up to make sure that if you are in the situation where you must join the track perpendicular, that you're not going to drive into the line of another car. As a final note, shouldn't be a problem today because damage isn't turned on, but you must complete 70% of the race leader's final lap in order to be classified. So that just means finish the race today. If you have damage, or if damage is on in coming races, we'll address what happens if you don't complete 70%, but that's for another driver's briefing. Those are all the notes that I have for, I guess, the running of this session. Please feel free to fire away with any questions.
Arthur, it's a double file start.
It's a double file, yep.
Yeah. On the start zone, you go on the leader, so if you can't see him, you'd just be relying on the other cars around you.
You can also use the chat to ask questions now if you'd like.
One last confirmation.
Sure.
Damage is off for qualifying, but then on for the race, or
No, it's for, sorry. There's lots of qualifying going on.
Yeah,
so for the
qualifying,
pre-qualifying overall, it's turned off. Once we get into our normal race sessions, damage will be back on. So for the entire session today, the damage is turned off.
So all day today. Understood. Thank you.
Yep. No problem.
Finally, I just want to confirm quickly.
Sure.
You said it was after once you've left the pits in qualifying.
Yep.
And once you've entered the pits, you cannot rejoin.
Yes.
That's correct. Okay, thank you.
Effectively, you can only cross the pit exit line once.
Okay, that's cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, you have the rest of the time to warm up, and then you'll jump straight into qualifying. Good luck. Have a good race.
Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
luck.
Problem.
Thank you.
Thank you.
一人でね。今の、ローリングスタートのスタートゾーンは、どこだっけ